Welcome to Real Estate Unleashed. I am your co-host, Regan Hildebrand. You can find me on social media at Realtor Regan.
And I am Bridget Quinn. You can find me on all social media, B Quinn Realtor. Howdy doodies.
Howdy. We're back at it.
Yes.
Keep adding to you got a nice comfy chair now. Matching. Yep,
Cool.
We're upgrading all the time.
I feel like we're like low rider.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, so we're hot in the middle of the summer real estate season right now. Everything is fast-paced back again, right? I keep seeing information out there that, we're returning to those low inventory levels. Definitely feels like it.
Picking back up.
Absolutely. But that's summer for you though, right?
It is. But it feels like it's starting to, not like it was when at the height of the craziness or anything, but it's starting to kind of feel similar to it, right?
Yeah, my prediction is that we're always going to have now these spikes and everything where for a time, seasonally at least, yes, you're going to find yourself back into multiple offer situations.
Right. Losing out on more deals again. And
yeah, the tough, bad news type of feel to some things, yeah. And as agents, that's hard, when you have to give bad news.
Sure.
But, it is what it is. But there are some things as agents, though, and that's what we're going to talk about today, that, we might have to give some bad news here or there, but some things we just would never do, right?
We would never, ever have a never?
Never, ever have I ever, never, ever done.
It's a good thing this isn't a drinking game.
No. Oh, yeah, write that one down as another topic. Real Estate Unleashed After Dark.
It would have to be after dark.
Yeah. But yeah, there's certain things, though, that even though we have to deliver bad news, we just don't do as agents, or at least we personally, right?
No.
We've seen it.
Try to, but don't.
Yeah. So
we may think it. We may think some bad things, but
don't let the intrusive thoughts win. That's the key. Yeah. But when we talk about like the never evers, like just in your experience, like what's one thing, for example, like you would never tell a buyer or never do to a buyer?
Never do to a buyer. I would never, like when they're seriously looking for a house, I would never take them to something that they're not pre-approved for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of silly, but like, if they're only approved for 200, why would I show them something for even 250 if I don't truly believe that I can get that within their budget, right?
Right.
Or vice versa too. I also wouldn't want to, if they're approved for 400, show them something for 200,000 unless that's in the realm of what they want. They want to, save money or different stuff like that. So really it's, just making sure that we're showing what they're approved for within reason.
Yeah, keeping
unless they need that shock value. Do you know what I mean? Like there's certain things that they don't understand the reality of the prices. Then maybe that's a different method to the madness to say, okay, well, here's what you can afford.
Yeah, a little hard truth.
Hard truth. I think we talked about some hard truth before.
Yep. Yeah, along those same lines, I would never want to take a buyer further in the process than they need to be right then. So a lot of times when we're looking at houses, it's this is broken. Can we get it fixed during the due diligence period, or can we get the seller to agree to it? I would never tell him, yeah, we can absolutely do that. I would never deliver a false hope,
assumption.
Yeah, put something out there that could be met with disappointment later, right?
Right.
You don't want to have to eat your words as an agent.
No.
That's like the kills your reputation, but it also could kill the deal.
Sure.
Disappoints more than a few people, perhaps. Yeah. But along those same lines, flipping it again, then what's something that you as an agent, when working with sellers, would never tell them or advise a seller on?
To assume kind of the worst about every deal, right? So there's a lot of them that don't know the difference between the loans, or they've heard this or they've heard that, and they just would be like, I don't want a VA loan, or I don't want an FHA loan because it's oh, they're going to make us do everything. That's not the case,
Yeah, and we've touched on that in the past too.
So it's just don't make assumptions, I guess, about, I'll tell you what it is, the truth of it, and what I think we can get from the deals, but don't go jump into conclusions, or don't be expecting to have to, not do your due diligence and fix things that need to be fixed, or that sort of thing. Set those expectations.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like setting expectations correctly. If you don't, then it's going to backfire again. And in that same thinking too, when I'm working with either a prospective seller or an actual seller that's on the market, or worse, even under contract, I never want to set them up to be antagonistic towards the buyers. Following that same train of thought, like, if the loan comes through and it's a FHA or VA, I don't want to give them the wrong impression, but I also don't want to lay everything as blame on the buyer's agent or the buyers. Like, oh, they're asking for this in the repair request just because they're jerks, or they're just being greedy.
Most people are not malicious. Do you know what I mean? So it's explaining the situations.
Precisely. That always assuming that there's malicious intent is just going to make it for a rough deal. And if you're under contract for 30, 45, maybe 60 days, why do you want that stress? So the one thing I've learned as an agent over the years is let's keep everybody in a good mood and let's keep everybody friendly, right?
Yeah, well, we had talked about before about the whole, we're a win-win situation.
Yeah.
You want everybody get to the table to close. So
yeah.
Why would you make it worse than it could be?
Yeah, and it's easy as an agent to say, "Oh, that's the other agent's fault."
Blaming, making excuses for the other side, or you not doing your part.
Right, and I mean, it gets ugly. I've had situations too where there's no way to stop it because things have turned ugly, and then you end up calling the closing agent and you're being like, "We need to sign the paperwork at different times."
Again, I think one of the first episodes we talked about expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
But if you can sort of get ahead of it.
Yeah, if you can cut it off at the pass.
So is there anything that you would not do if you were showing a house?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's the just basic decorum, right? Show up on time. Show up, period. I mean, we all as listing agents, and we know it as sellers, hate it when you take time out of your day.
If something happens too, just, even a courtesy text to the listing agent or something, be like, hey, we're stuck in traffic, or hey, I haven't canceled it yet, but the buyers are no longer interested. Just a common courtesy.
Yeah, the communication piece. So I would never want to leave somebody hanging, leave them high and dry. Obviously when you're actually in the house though, things, just treat it like it's not just your own, but something a little nicer. You maybe like, take your shoes off as a courtesy when you're going in. When you're leaving, make sure you lock all the doors, leave the lights on as they were, or off if they were off when you came in.
Sometimes that's hard to remember. Was this one on or was this one off? But as you say, in general, at least lock the doors.
Yeah, or if you don't know, call or text the listing agent and be like, hey, don't remember if you had the garage door locked or not. Do you want me to lock it?
Right.
I think it just goes a long way, just to your point earlier, showing common courtesy on both sides of the deal. So yeah, if I'm showing a house, this is the courtesy piece, but also I want to give a fair representation to the people I'm showing it to.
Sure.
I'm not going to see it through rose-colored glasses, because my job as the agent is to point out the stuff that they might not be seeing at that time.
Right. Well, you're used to it. Like, you're going to say, okay, this floor is a little uneven. There could be some foundation issues. Or, hey, I noticed there's a bunch of cracks in the wall. That could be structural. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're trying to find, A, the faults to point it out, but B, also to make sure you're looking out for the clients.
Right. And not to scare anybody. We don't want to run people off.
There's a lot of stuff, too. If, somebody, hey, what's all that? And it's nail pops, you can say, well, that's just, it is what it is. You can't really do much about those.
Yeah, and if there's an uncertainty, then we address it as not a scare tactic, but that's what, we come in, we ask the right questions to the listing agent, the sellers, and then we get all the details in front of us to make an educated decision on our offer. And then if it is the right one and the offer gets accepted, then we get the right inspections to check everything out. But I would never to that point, I would never advise somebody to skip an inspection either.
Oh, absolutely not. I'd say that's a big one. Never, ever, ever skip an inspection.
No, it's going to blow up in your face, and everyone.
And
thinks,
I would even go farther as if you're getting new construction to never ever skip a drywall inspection if you're building it from the start.
Pre-drywall inspection and then a final inspection. Absolutely. The common misconception is they have county or city building inspectors that come out. Those guys spend 15 minutes and they're looking for...
Yeah, but they're just looking for code.
Yeah, they're looking for a short checklist to make sure the basics are there.
Right.
Your home inspector is going to spend 2 to 3 hours.
Well, I've showed you certain videos of local inspectors that go out and they video, these new construction neighborhoods, and it's good builders and builders that we don't particularly like, but it's all across the board that they make mistakes too. There's stuff like glaring obvious things that need to be fixed,
and chances are they're going to be fixed. They want you to buy the house. So
but if you don't point it out and you go A, unrepresented yourself, and B, never ever go without an agent, if you're not getting that inspection too, then you're up the creek without a paddle.
Precisely. Yeah. I think that yeah, and you can't turn back the hands of time. Like, you can't go back and undo all this stuff. I was free solo for you there.
There you go. Thanks.
You can't go back. You can't undo it. I've had clients, unfortunately, that did waive an inspection, and they did come to regret it. But that's just part of that. Live and learn.
I mean, yeah, sometimes you gotta live and let learn.
Yeah, I think the other big thing that creeps up on people is like never wanting to just find yourself without some kind, like you said, the paddle idea. Never want to be up a creek without a paddle.
No.
Got to have an agent. And I know we're beating that horse to death.
They're probably sick of us saying this, but
that's usually the way you're going to catch yourself before you check yourself before you wreck yourself.
And I believe that actually was check yourself before you Shrek yourself.
Shrek yourself. Really going back. So yeah, if you're in that market and you just don't want to make those mistakes.
Were you in that boat?
You're in that boat and you don't want to make the mistakes, just get an agent. If you're outside of our area, we can hook you up with somebody who will make sure you never ever make those mistakes.
Yeah. Is there anything else you would never ever do in general as an agent?
I mean, I would guard my reputation, and you and I have seen that so much on social media. The people who don't realize that the internet is forever.
Forever, ever, ever, ever.
Ever, ever. You can't undo that kind of damage.
No, you cannot.
So,
And let me say, just because you have a personal, private account doesn't mean that the world can't still see it through somebody.
Unless you have 0 friends on there, somebody can screenshot anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the internet never forgets. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing as an agent. If you're coming into this, you better have a clean slate to start out with, and you better keep it clean.
Both on your professional page. I mean, that should go unsaid. But also on your personal page, too.
Absolutely. And you have to be careful not to ever badmouth the wrong people too. This is a business that word travels fast.
Well, the old game of like, if you say a good word, only a few people hear it, but if you say a bad word, and not just
not just a bad 4-letter word.
No.
Yeah.
But you
defamatory stuff. Yeah.
Right.
It's going to catch up with you. So.
Oh, sure. I mean, put it like this: I know, as if I was not an agent and I was looking for somebody to be an agent, I definitely know which ones I would prefer to work with and prefer not to work with based on just their social media and their presence.
Yeah. It's a small circle, even though there's like 7,000, 8,000 agents in the Charlotte area. A small handful of those are the ones that tend to do the majority of the business, and we know the reputation. So yeah, never ever would I sully my good name by making a dumb mistake on social media.
No.
So. Or just in general, saying the wrong thing to the wrong person, like you said, it travels. So, yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Never ever would I not put the toilet seat down for a photo.
Nice. Very thoughtful. Never ever would I take my own pictures for a listing that's not like a cheap investor teardown. Yeah. Yeah. Never ever would I be a rental agent, for that matter.
Oh,
That's a hard
never ever
business.
would I be a commercial agent either.
Yeah, we leave it to the experts. There are people that do it much better than we ever could. But never ever would I leave real estate either. You know, it's an addictive little business that we're in. We love it. So even with the nevers
Obviously,
and the
I'm still here.
yeah, we're still here.
I mean,
Despite all of the
cue the I'm still
turbulence.
standing.
Yeah, exactly. Don't think we have a license to that one either. But never ever would I forget to subscribe to our podcast either.
Oh, that's a good one.
Eh.
Ba-da-boo!
So yeah, if you have some never evers, put them in the comments below. If you have
Never
some,
ever would I be a for sale by owner.
Ooh,
Ooh,
yes.
yes.
And we'll continue this with more never evers. So leave them in the comments. Hit us up. Our contact info is also below. And check that like button for us. Yep.
I don't know why I have to always do that sound with it.
It makes my job easier when I'm editing it. I don't have to insert a sound. Yeah. But check back with us. We'll put some more of these out here. We appreciate your feedback.
Yeah.
And you can find me on social media at Realtor Regan.
And you can find me on social media, B Quinn Realtor. And as always, we'll catch you next time.